hashtags in 2019 were like so important for building reach. But what's happened with Instagram and kind of Facebook is they've with anything that's free to start with, eventually the company that runs it tries to monetize it at some point.
How can artists make effective use of hashtags to power your careers? This is Rahul from Artist Life Hacks and V Patina. I speak to Esther Koch, a co-owner at Koch Expos Gallery in Amsterdam, and James Hughes, founder of Direct Marketing for Leads in Ibiza, to find out. What strategies do you use to kind of engage with people online? I've been doing an Instagram feed for a gallery, and one of the things I've been digging into quite deeply are hashtags, and the way you can use hashtags, not just to target, because the whole idea, I think, with a hashtag is you want it to be specific enough that it pops up on people's feed. If you just use art, then no one will. You need to use light photography, Brazil or something, right? But also branding. If you got a photograph of, I don't know, a duck. There's a beautiful. I actually use that because I had to Instagram a photograph of a duck. It makes a huge difference whether it's in the wild or whether it's fine art photography or whether it's hunting. There's like a whole bunch of duck photographs that relate to hunting. So you get a whole different, you're saying a different thing about any image depending on the hashtag. So what kind of strategies are you using for marketing online and connecting with people on Instagram? Either of you, I don't know. What do you think, James?
Well, hashtags in 2019 were like so important for building reach. But what's happened with Instagram and kind of Facebook is they've with anything that's free to start with, eventually the company that runs it tries to monetize it at some point. So the reach that you get from hashtags now is much less than you would have got like a year or year and a half ago.
Yeah, I heard something like that. But I don't know what, but I hope you know more.
I've been trying to figure this out as well, but keep going. This is interesting. Yeah.
So like hashtags, although we use them to kind of just try and get a bit of extra reach, they were never like a core part of our strategy to get more customers. We used hashtags actually in a really interesting way. We created specific hashtags that were unique to our brand. So for example, we had one that was like sax and DJ, like we used the letter N instead of and. We created this hashtag. And then we tagged all of our content on Instagram, like the videos and photos that had that in it with that hashtag. And then we put that hashtag in our profile, in the bio, and said, if you want to see the content that's about sax and DJ, click this link. Because you in your bio on Instagram, you can put hashtags and you can tell people to click those hashtags. And if it's unique to your brand, then it will only show the things that you've curated. So it's a way of building like a sub feed within your feed. And we did that with like different projects, but potentially you could do that around like openings. So you could like have one for specific artist. And then people could just click that to see about the stuff related to that artist or that opening, and it could be a really cool way to kind of sub-curate your feed.
I must say we do a little bit the same, but not in the bio. That's very smart. What I'm doing, well, I'm not trying to increase the followers by hashtags, but just I try to give. Well, because I'm more visual than text, I use hashtags. I build it up and give some information about the works. So I always do like, well, first the artist, then the name of the work and the techniques, and then the more general things. And then I try to, catch the story in hashtags. And I also make new hashtags, which don't exist, just to make our own things, but I don't put it in the bio. That's a good one. I tried for the new opening, but we have for some, how do you call them? The art streaming, the art movements, like I'm making like new classic or something. And then I also investigate which hashtags the artist is using for telling the story about the artwork. And then I use them also in my my feed.
Yeah, that's clever. That's
because they know the best how to describe things. But sometimes it's only painting. Okay, this is not very helpful, but others have some really cool hashtags.
Yeah.
So I copy them, of course.
Yeah. That's really
interesting. Somebody told me like yesterday that it was not cool anymore to use hashtags, but maybe it was in this story you're telling now.
Yeah, I think as well, there's a bit of an argument kind of to do with vanity. Like if you're seen as posting and putting all 30 possible hashtags then do you come across as desperate? But then a marketing guru might be, well, if you don't use all 30, you're missing an opportunity to get reach. So there's like a personal preference, there's various statistics, but I think the only way to know for sure is to kind of analyze the reach you're getting from hashtags, because you can do that using software, see which ones are working, which ones are actually like if you do similar posts, but some with 6 hashtags, some with 10, some with 30, and then you test it and you see what works. That's the only way of knowing the best thing to do, and it's so unique for the brand.
Yeah, but I must say this testing, I just do it and I don't look back all the time. But of course, it's also depends on which time and which day and everything. So it's not only, of course, 6 or 12. So I just post, and what I do, and that's working the best for us, is making a deal, a 1-2 with the artist. So I post something, or the artist is posting, and then we follow each other up. And then if we work together through Instagram, then we got this sales because they have more followers, of course.
Yeah.
And then I can hop in with my story. And so that's working the best.
So that becomes a story about coordination. That kind of becomes a team effort. It becomes,
And it's nice because then, it works that you're doing it together instead of behind your screen.
No, it's very sociable. And also I guess it keeps the momentum going as well, because you're pulling and pushing each other along. It becomes a creative process, which is the best possible. That's where all the energy comes from. But what you were saying about looking at the data and looking at the analytics, that's super important. But I find it a bit of a struggle sometimes to stay on top of it and try and remember what was relevant. And also, especially if you're dealing with analytics that reflect, that connect to Facebook or Instagram, the rules keep on changing a little bit, right? I mean, Google seems a bit more like a level playing field. But with Facebook and Instagram, as you said, things that were important a year and a half ago fall away in importance now, and we don't know what will be important in 2 years' time.
Well, I think that that's you're right. To stay on top of that is almost impossible if you're also running the business, curating the art, the artists, speaking to the customers, because you have so many other things to do that are like super important. But when I work for a client, I have to do that reporting to justify that I'm making money for them. So for me, it's really important because it demonstrates that it's working. And also you make so many discoveries about things that you assume people are important to people. And then when you actually look at the data, they're actually just not at all. So like you could assume, for example, that someone wants to, when there's a picture, they want some information about it. But maybe actually what they want is a little quote that just makes them feel something. And how do you know if people want information or a feeling? Well, you do like 10 posts of each and you compare the results. And that's how you start to learn about the language that your audience like resonates with.
Yeah, I think there's a big difference between you having this agency doing it and I'm just doing it also with the rest of all the things. Yeah, like 10 posts, like, okay, 10 posts, oh my God.
It's painful, right?
Yeah. No, it's more like, okay, I'm happy if I have 4 posts a week or something. It's good enough for us and being on alert. But of course, you're doing it the whole day.